Ladies and gentlemen, the globalist playbook is being torched before our very eyes. President Trump has launched what can only be described as a full-spectrum revolution against the established order. For decades, Wall Street parasites feasted while America's backbone, the working class, starved. But now, Secretary of Treasury Scott Bessent just declared it's Main Street's turn. Meanwhile, the president is unleashing holy economic hell on the trade cheaters and cartels that have robbed American prosperity blind. We designated Tren de Aragua, MS-13, and Mexican drug cartels as foreign terrorist organizations. That's what the president announced. And thanks to the Supreme Court, these monsters are being deported under the Alien Enemies Act. The elites thought they had crushed the American spirit. Well, they were wrong. And we've got all the news. So don't go anywhere, because as we step into 2025, one thing's clear: de-dollarization is not stopping. It's accelerating. China and other BRICS nations are scared of President Trump, and it's making them more determined to reduce their dependence on the U.S. dollar and establish themselves as global economic superpowers. What is their secret weapon? It's gold. In fact, China resumed buying gold. And you know what's even more telling? They underreport their buys. Doesn't it make you wonder why? They recognize its global value and ability to withstand economic shocks. Gold is a global asset with innate value. It's tangible, reliable, and immune to economic manipulation. China and other BRICS countries, they want to be prepared. They just don't want it known. But this isn't just about nations. It's about you. So make sure you visit nextnewsgold.com and say hello to our friends at Noble Gold Investments. You can also call the number on the screen, 877-646-5347, and find out how you can get 10 free silver coins when you invest with Noble Gold Investments. All right. So what happened at the White House today? Everybody wants to know. Well, we can start off with something a little soft, a little easy before we get into the hard stuff. President Trump welcomed racing champions to the White House. Check out this car. I love racing. He says, I wouldn't ride in that thing if you paid me. Check this out.
This is just a celebration of racing, and it's a celebration of Roger and his great success and his life, and these incredible champions who really do what very few people could do. Mentally, psychologically, is a big factor here, like it is in all sports, really, but you need a great physical ability. People that do this, they don't realize what great athletes they are. It's just not the car. I had a friend, he's a very successful guy, but he was a driver, and started off, he wanted to be a race car driver. He wanted to be like you. He wanted to be just like Joey Logano. and he had it for business, but he didn't have it for he said, I just couldn't compete with the good drivers. He couldn't do it no matter what he did. And he got lucky. He went into business and made a lot of money. He was very successful. But he said, I couldn't press the accelerator down all the way, and the best drivers could. So there was just a difference. It was really bad. Never forgot that story. But these are great champions, and it's a great sport. And what you've done in Indianapolis also with the track and everything has been incredible. I mean, it's really incredible. People tell me it's been amazing. I'll have to get there. I'm going to have to get there maybe this year with you. But
open invitation.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you.
So winners are at the White House, not just from the Indy 500. President Donald Trump welcomes the North Dakota State University 2025 Division I football champions to the White House. Take a look at this quick moment. So much winning, I don't know where to begin. And speaking of winning, we got this. President Trump signing a memorandum revoking any active security clearance held by CISA Krebs and his associates, calling him a fraud and a disgrace.
Christopher Krebs, the former head of CISA. This is a man who weaponized his position against free speech in the election context, in the context of COVID-19. A presidential memorandum to the one you just signed. It assurances he might have, and further instructs your Department of Justice, other aspects of your government, to investigate some of the malign acts that he participated in while he was still head of CISA.
This is another one. I don't know that I met him. I'm sure I met him, but I didn't know him. And he came out right after the election, which was a rigged election, badly rigged election. We did phenomenally in that election. Look what happened to our country because of it. Open borders, millions of people coming into our country. Russia and Ukraine, that would have never happened. October 7th would have never happened. Afghanistan, the way that they withdrew with 13 dead, but so many killed, actually. I mean, so many killed outside of the 13 soldiers, hundreds of people killed. And maybe, I don't know, never mentioned, but I mentioned it, 42 or 43 people so badly injured, the legs, the arms, blown off, the face. And this is all because of an incompetent group of people that preceded us, and that would have never happened. And this guy Krebs was saying, oh, the election was great, it was great. Well, it's been proven that it was not only not great. When you look at all these lawyers and law firms that are signing, giving us hundreds of millions of dollars, it was proven by so many different ways in so many different forms, from the legislatures not approving to the that worked, from all of the different scamming operations. It was a very corrupt election. They used COVID to cheat. And we're going to find out this guy, too, because this guy's a wise guy. He said, we've been proved this is the most secure election in the history of our country. Now, this was a disaster. And frankly, we should go to paper ballots, same-day voting, voter ID, and one other thing, a vote, you should get a little certificate that says you're a citizen of our country. You get a citizen piece of paper that says you're a citizen before you can vote. But you want voter ID and you want paper ballots, and you really want same-day voting. If you don't have same-day voting, they decide to change the air conditioner. Oh, we're fixing the air conditioner. Let's move all these boxes. We'll bring them back in a few days, and then they don't bring back those boxes. We got to have safe elections. We have to have borders. Ideally, we have to have a free press, which we don't have. We don't have a free press. We have a very dishonest press. This is an honor. We're going to find out whether or not he was right. This was a disgraceful election, and this guy sat back saying, well, I'm a member, or like he's a Republican or something, and almost right from the beginning. And he's tried to make the case that this election was a safe election. I think he said, this is the safest election we've ever had. And yet, every day you read in the papers about more and more fraud that's discovered. He's the fraud. He's a disgrace. So we'll find out whether or not it was a safe election. And if it wasn't, he's got a big price to pay. And he's a bad guy. There's another one. I have no idea who he is. Krebs. I have no idea who he is. I'm sure he was in the room at some point, just like you're all in the room, but I have no idea who he was. So thank you very much. Those last two are very important, I think, for the country.
Christopher.
I mean, think about that. He just laid it out. You guys all know what happened in 2020, and it was an absolute disgrace. We couldn't even talk about it on social media without fear of getting banned, deleted, and terminated. And President Trump now clearly laying out the plan and revoking the clearances of people who were involved in that fraud. Here's the latest on TikTok. A lot of people asking about this. Let's listen.
President, where does the TikTok deal stand, given what we've seen? We have the terrorists.
Well, it's moving along, but obviously I would say right now China's not exactly thrilled about signing it. We have a deal with some very good people, some very rich companies that would do a great job with it, but we're going to have to wait to see what's going to happen with China. So
Is the president still on the table?
No, it's on the table very much. I think China's going to want to do it, actually.
TikTok is still on the table. Here is Scott Turner talking at HUD. He says, we're taking inventory, cutting the red tape that has hindered home building and new construction across America. Trump signing a memorandum directing the heads of federal departments and agencies to follow the law and cease enforcing regulations that are illegal and unconstitutional.
Departments and there are a large number of regulations on the books. These are regulations that are currently in effect that we believe blatantly violate the law, blatantly violate Supreme Court precedent, that otherwise are just blatantly illegal. So what this presidential memorandum does basically just directs the heads of your departments and agencies to follow the law. and to cease enforcing regulations that are blatantly illegal or unconstitutional.
It's a big deal.
I love the Sharpie.
It's really very important that we get these memorialized
Yes, sir.
in Congress. Very important for the long haul, right?
Yes.
I mean, when Joe Biden was signing all those executive orders, was there somebody there explaining everything he was signing? No, he just had stacks of stuff, and they were just putting it in front of him, and he would just sign it. The puppet in chief, Joe Biden. Let's keep going. Here we have more on the historic private investments in America. Here's President Trump.
Can you talk about how these investments will have a positive impact on families who felt like the previous economy left them behind, and why your executive orders on coal yesterday is so important given the amount of manufacturing that you're ushering back in?
But thank you. And which is correct. We have, I would say, more than $7 trillion now, right, of investment coming in. Apple is coming in for $500 billion alone. We have other companies coming in with massive numbers. We have car companies that are coming in. No, we've never seen anything like it. Maybe in the 1940s or 50s or something, but we've never seen anything like it. They had 3 plants canceled in Mexico. Not that we want to hurt Mexico, but we're for us. And that's what my job is. It's not to take care of other countries, but I want to help other countries as much as I can, but we have to take care of America first, and it's about America first. So we have many, many companies coming in that would have never come in if we didn't win the election and then put the tariffs on. And they're coming in because when they build in the United States, there are no tariffs. You don't have to pay any tariffs. So instead of paying 30, 40, 50% or 25%, but it could go a lot higher in some of the industries. So we have steel mills right now that are raging. The steel industry is gone. If I didn't put the tariffs on steel, because China was dumping massive amounts of steel in my first term, and I put tariffs on it, I saved the steel industry, but now it's going to thrive, maybe like never before. I mean, if you go back to U.S. Steel from 90 years ago, it was incredible. It was the #1 company in the world for a long time. That's why we don't want to see it go to Japan. And we love Japan, but U.S. Steel is a very special company. We don't want it to go to Japan or any other place. So we're working with them, and I don't know if they need any money now. I'll be honest with you, they hit gold. They hit gold because if you look at it, they have such orders for steel now. It's incredible. What's going on in our country is incredible with respect to plants. So we lost 90,000 plants and factories from the beginning of NAFTA, the worst trade deal ever made in the history of this world, but certainly in the history of trade. There's never been a worse trade deal. We were able to cancel that. We had to get approval from Congress. It was like a disastrous curse because you had to go to Congress to get it terminated. You couldn't just terminate it because it was a bad deal. And you had people in Congress that didn't want to do it because they had other reasons, maybe bad reasons. They're mostly not there anymore, those people. But it's amazing what's happened. I appreciate that question because it's incredible. I don't think we've ever seen anything like it. $7 trillion, and it's much more than that because, these are places that we know. $7 trillion is unheard of. I never looked at the Biden numbers, but you could go a whole year and it was peanuts. Everybody was leaving. They weren't coming in, they were leaving, and that means jobs are leaving. And so we're not playing games. We're going to make this country greater than ever before. Thank you.
Let's go, baby. Yeah. Did you ever hear Biden bragging about investments in America? No, didn't happen. Here's Secretary Howard Lutnick. We can't be a nation that invents everything, but has everything built somewhere else. Commerce Secretary on CNBC.
Think about it. We can't be a nation that invents everything but has everything built somewhere else. Eventually, you become subservient to the people who build things for you. If you make nothing, but all you do is think about it, then someone else will be the builder. And if you also allow these giant trade deficits and you let yourself have budget deficits, what ends up happening is the rest of the world also owns you. In 1980, we owned more of the rest of the world than they owned of us. And now the rest of the world owns $18 trillion net more of the United States than we own of them. So 60% of our GDP is now owned by outsiders. It's time for that to be right-sized and fixed. We're going to reshore great industrialization, bring back those jobs here, and we're going to strengthen America so that America plays the right role in the world and is not just the biggest consumer who overspends and eventually is owned by the rest of the world. That is just not going to happen. My grandchildren had a great day today because my grandchildren had a great day when Donald Trump was elected president. That's what's changing. It's America for the long term of America. Someone had to do it, and you're feeling that's what's happening now.
Let's play the long game, baby. Okay, let's keep going. We got more hits from the press. Let's take a look at what Peter Navarro had to say on boosting American manufacturing. He's the White House senior counselor.
Coordinated. I challenge your assumption that it takes years. Okay, it's not going to take years. We do this in Trump time. That means as quickly as possible. During the first term, I was the defense policy coordinator. I was the guy who was helping the president try to get things like ventilators and N95 masks to the people as quickly as possible. Honeywell comes to me and says, we got to get 2 factories done, and it's going to take maybe 6 to 8 months or more. We got them done in 2 months. And then General Motors, ventilators, 14 days we were producing ventilators in the Midwest right now, around the Michigan area, Indiana, and all the places where autos and auto parts are made. There's very low capacity utilization of our auto factories. There's auto parts factories, which all you have to do is go on and take the cobwebs and dust away, and you can start those up again. This is going to move very, very fast. With respect to the inflation issue and whether consumers are going to pay for this, we have the experience of the first term. What happens is the exporters to us eat most of any tariff. Why do they do that? They have to do that, Lindsay. I mean, think about it. They're export dependent. They have nowhere to go other than us for selling goods, and so they eat it. That's what happened, particularly with China in the first term. You got to remember, Lindsay, I don't know if you're around for the first term. You probably had people on your show. They said all the same thing, inflation, inflation, inflation. It didn't happen. It just didn't happen. So you have to take that with a grain of salt and understand the underlying economics. The other thing that happens is currency adjustments. Our currency is going to get stronger. That's what happens when the trade deficit goes down. What does that mean? That means that we have more purchasing power to buy those imports. So that happens, and then supply chains adjust, and then investment comes here. The end game, Lindsay, the end game is to have production here. Any country that wants to produce here doesn't pay a tariff. That's the ultimate solution. I challenge you.
The ultimate solution, get those factories up and running so we can get them filled with American workers. We got this just in from Rapid Response 47. Screw America. A new report from CEA 47 shows that extending the Trump tax cuts will raise real wages by as much as $3,300 a year, increase take-home pay for median income households by as much as $5,000, boost short-run real GDP by 3.3 to 3.8%, and long-run GDP as well. And here we have Representative Horsford actually saying that passing the biggest tax cut in history will screw America. Yeah.
The Speaker is rushing to the floor to pass a budget reconciliation to screw America by passing the biggest tax cut in history on the backs of the American people? WTF? Who's in charge? The Speaker is rushing to the floor.
Who's in charge? President Trump's in charge, buddy. Okay? Tax cuts. Yeah, tax cuts are going to screw the American people. Can someone help me understand that logic? Tax cuts screw the American people. How about no taxes at all? Yeah, that's the logic of the left. But they just continue to scream and yell. Here's President Trump last night talking about Tren de Aragua, the Mexican drug cartels, at the NRCC gala.
During the same period last year, Joe Biden released more than 184,000 illegal aliens into our country. Think of it. Many of these people were from jails and mental institutions, as I said. Since my inauguration, we've released a grand total of nine. And they were all, in all cases, medical emergencies. We did that for medical emergency reasons. Last month, we officially designated Trinidad, MS-13, and the Mexican drug cartels as foreign terrorist organizations. And thanks to the Supreme Court yesterday, and today we had a big ruling too. We had a very big ruling today. But we will continue to deport these monsters under the Alien Enemies Act. Think of that, Alien Enemies Act. Can you believe it? During the same period last year...
And then we have this also from the NRCC gala last night.
I had somebody say the most successful first month in the history. Now they said the most successful 100 days in the history of our country. And I believe that's right. And we're going to continue that way, if not more so. I had somebody...
Oh, yeah. We're covering it all. Here's President Trump talking about who he is president for.
Who defends America. I'm proud to be the president for the workers, not the outsourcers. The president who stands up for Main Street, not Wall Street. Who protects the middle class, not the political class. And who defends America, not trade cheaters all over the globe. They're trade cheaters. They cheated on us. They cheated with tariffs on us. They stole our money. They stole our jobs. I'm proud to be the president.
Let's keep going. Here is the Secretary of the Treasury talking about the last 4 decades. Wall Street has grown wealthier than ever before, and it can continue to grow and do well. But for the next 4 years, it's Main Street's turn.
For the last 4 decades, basically since I began my career in Wall Street has grown wealthier than ever before, and it can continue to grow and do well. But for the next 4 years, the Trump agenda is focused on Main Street. It's Main Street's turn. It's Main Street's turn to hire workers. It's Main Street's turn to drive investment. And it's Main Street's turn to restore the American dream.
And it's Main Street where it's all going to happen. You know, people just playing with money on Wall Street is one thing, but when people are actually investing in businesses, in factories, and the individual Americans who are going to have those jobs, that's where real growth occurs. And this administration clearly knows it. Here we have, this is CNN. Okay. This is the new, Thomas Hearn writes, this is the new Republican Party, whether you like it or not.
The wealthy people. This is the new Republican Party, whether you like it or not. I mean, Trump won because he won blue-collar union voters, and he and the Republicans view that as the base of the party now. And it's different. It's different than when Reagan won, where it was mostly wealthy people. Now the wealthy people vote Democratic, and middle-class people are generally voting Republican. And so this is a policy position that's actually fairly popular with Americans. I'm a free trader.
I'm sorry, Steve. Which part do you think is popular? Because I don't think that's true.
Well, let me just say this. Even though Trump knows I'm a free trade guy, and he knows that I oftentimes oppose these policies, he still calls on me. He likes to get different opinions from different people. And in the end of the day, I'm going to predict this has been a rough period, no question. But Trump is a winner. He's a master negotiator. I think at the end of the day, you're going to have these countries calling him up on the phone one by one and making a deal with them. It's going to be good for
what's going to happen to the U.S.?
And that's exactly what's happening. That was Steve Forbes on CNN setting the record straight. Let's keep going. More news to get to on this beautiful day 80 of President Trump's reclamation of the White House. Let's take a look at here's more from Secretary Scott Bessent. For too long, financial policy has served large financial institutions.
Succeed. For too long, financial policy has served large financial institutions at the expense of smaller ones. No more. No more. This administration aims to give all banks the chance to succeed, whether it's J.P. Morgan or your local mortgage and loan. It aims to get capital to Americans who need it by getting bureaucracy out of the way. For the last 4 decades, basically since I began my career in Wall Street has grown wealthier than ever before, and it can continue to grow and do well. But for the next 4 years, the Trump agenda is focused on Main Street.
Main Street is where it's at. So this isn't just a presidency, folks. It's a restoration, a reckoning. And the fight has only just begun. From a tearful hostage survivor declaring President Trump, you saved my life, to labor union voters flipping red in record numbers, it's happening. Trump is realigning the political universe, forging a new Republican Party rooted in working class power. On Capitol Hill, Representative Andy Biggs is sounding the alarm on the next civil liberties time bomb. Mass surveillance. Law enforcement agencies could potentially surveil individuals not engaged in any illegal activity whatsoever. And he warned the FBI is under fire again. Jim Jordan not pulling punches. They're breaking their own rules. So I ask you this. Is this the greatest political realignment in modern American history? Or is it something even bigger? Let us know in the comments below. And make sure you grab your exclusive America First gear at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. It's linked below.